Yep. Hi, everyone. We are Wireless Union, and our project is called the Wireless Wingman. Our project is a personal coding assistant. It is very similar to the GitHub Copilot. Basically, in our project, a user will input a prompt, and the AI will output an algorithm in a desired programming language. And then here's our table of contents. Here's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about we're going to talk about the team, how to use the AI technical stacks, the data set, the AI models, and further applications.
Okay. So I'm the first one here. I'm Robert. I did a lot of the backend development and I worked specifically on the JavaScript Python model. No, JavaScript AI model.
My name's Ethan. I did some of the front end development, and I also trained the C model.
I'm Zachary. I worked with Ethan on the front end and I trained the Python model.
I'm Natalie. I worked a little bit on the back end and I trained the Java model.
My name is Kallie. I worked a little bit on the back end as well, and I trained the C# model.
So the last person there is Noah, who's our instructor, and he helped out a lot.
So I'm going to show the website first. So basically, it's a user will input a prompt and then it will output the algorithm based on that prompt. And just a very brief explanation on how it works. Our models were fine-tuned with the GPT-2 transformers provided by Hugging Face and TensorFlow. So originally I had a video to explain the model, but I'm just going to present it live. Can you still see the website? Okay. So we have 6 different models for each language that our AI can understand. I'm going to select Python because we all are familiar with Python. And it gives you a brief explanation of what we did and some examples of what you could type in. So I'm going to type in bubble sort. And you click generate. And it will take some time for the AI to actually output the text. But anyways, basically we used Flask for the back end, and while this is happening, the prompt, the input, is getting sent to the back end where it's getting loaded into the AI model. And here's some code for bubble sort. And then on the main website, we still have some specs about the project, but we're going to go over that in the slideshow. And we also have Meet the Team.
Okay, so for our technical stack, for front end, we set up a prompt for an input to our AI as well as an output for the AI to generate to. So front end would be covering like the website and what you see as like a user. And then for backend, we use Flask to manage all the backend data and managing the AI input and outputs. And lastly, for our machine learning, we use GPT models, mainly the GPT-2 doublehead for most of our models, and as well as the distilled GPT model, which is the AI text gen model. And these are a few of our code snippets from our front and back end, like generating outputs from our models and retrieving things and like among other things. So we utilized over 100 million parameters to fine-tune our pre-trained models from Hugging Face and TensorFlow Transformer.
So the data set that we used was just a huge page of algorithms that we found on GitHub, which we'll pull up in just a second. And What we needed to do to clean up the data is we just removed all the comments. We made an algorithm to remove all the comments, and then we put it all in one text file, and that's what we use to train the data. And this is the GitHub page up here. So if you can, yeah, you see it just has like all these different algorithms. And what we did is we downloaded all the files, we just put them in one .txt and then removed the comments. And each language had its own strange quirks, so we needed to go through and remove for Python at least, I needed to go through and remove some stuff because it didn't clear out everything. But yeah, that's how we prepared the data.
So we used a lot of different AI models, mainly just for sake of variety. And so we used GPT Neo for the C++ AI because it seemed to work very well with large data sets. But with smaller data sets, like with a couple of our other languages, it just implemented straight English grammar, which just caused it to kind of break. We used the GPT-2 double head model, which is in the Python transformer library, to do 4 of them, the JavaScript, Java, and Python models, and mainly just because it works very well for more concise data. And we use the just distilled GPT model, just the basic GPT-2 AI text gen model for C#'s AI, just due to the fact that it was pretty easy to implement and to train. So during training, most of our trainings only took like about an hour, but on some cases we worked on Colab, and the longest training time we experienced was just shy of 10 hours, which is ridiculous. GPT Neo uses about 125 million parameters, which is quite a substantial amount, and the total amount of storage space that the models took up after we trained them was about just a bit more than 3 gigabytes.
So our software engineering process was first we did some analysis to decide what kind of project that we wanted to do. We went through a couple of options. I think we also wanted to do a political speech generator at some point, but decided that like this was a more interesting project for us. So we did a brainstorm and we used the spec template that we were given at the beginning a couple weeks ago to kind of figure out what our minimum viable project would look like. Then we started the design and created the models via CoCalc and Colab. And to be honest, CoCalc crashed like every single class. It was an experience. And that's why we had to just go to Colab and use, the 10-hour training, but we figured it out. Then we created a bunch of functions to implement our AI models within the website and put it into HTML and Flask to make the website that we have now. So further application of our project is we coded a Discord bot that just kind of took our code and made it so that it was usable within and could use this kind of $C method to access it. And
we also
sorry.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
We also have a GitHub page with our models and all our code.